What's going on, guys? I hope you're having a great day. Today's Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. Man, 2020, baby. We're in quarantine, personal quarantine. It's crazy out there. It's getting crazy. It's crazy out there. But I wanted to shoot this quick video because my inner conspiracy side is going crazy right now. And maybe some of the things that I've learned along the way can help you if you're going through some of this right now. Because we're seeing a lot of craziness. The whole world shut down right now. Never seen anything like this before. We got people buying up food. We got people buying up guns. We got a lot going on, and there's a lot of information. A lot of information. And I think that's one of the problems is we don't trust our information sources. And over this past weekend, I've spent a lot of time really diving into past financial crashes, economy crashes, ups and downs, what happened, what's going on. And, to simplify it, out of all of that, out of everything that I was looking at, mainly it was fear. Fear was the driver in all of these cases, because when people think things are good and things are going to continue being good, people spend money, people go out, people do things, right? I go out, I spend money, I do things. When people, myself, if you think things are going to be bad, you pull in, you go, okay, let me tread some water here. Let me see what's going on. Let me get my cash. Let me get some liquidity. If you're in the stock market, people are selling off because they don't want to be the last one to sell. So it's a race to the bottom, and it's all fear driven because right now we have this coronavirus, and if this coronavirus didn't happen, the economy would be thriving right now. Things would be going great. Like, the economy wouldn't be at this stagnation, this uncertainty, this fear that is happening. But I want to talk about some conspiracies going on out there, man, because one's mind can wander really fast down a rabbit hole with all of the information that is available to us. And man, I gotta tell you, people make some convincing points out there. And it's kind of a trip, right? You can start going down a rabbit hole. And I have this piece of cardboard here, which is actually something very near and dear to my heart. This is a piece of my history on my journey. And, I tell everybody that I come into contact with, I go, oh my goodness, I went through a rabbit hole of conspiracies. So back in, I want to say 2011, 2012, I had a lot of time on my hands. So I had time, and what I did with that time was unproductive because I don't know how it led into it. I think I watched something on 9/11, and that led me down this rabbit hole of conspiracy and government and fraud and all of this negativity and just this world that just like I was freaked out. Like I was so paranoid and scared, and the world's gonna end, and it was a crazy time. And I mean, I'd spend at the time, the business that I was doing, the work that I was doing, I could literally spend 10 hours a day, and I was by myself, what I was doing. So it was about 10 to 15 hours a day, depending on the time of the season that I was in or the work that I had in front of me. But I was by myself, and I would sit with my headphones on, and I'd have YouTube and unlimited data at this time. And I would have 30 to 40 gigs worth of data just listening to YouTube in a month's time frame of conspiracies and banks and how, people would finance both sides of wars and its power and all of this craziness, right? And I went down this long rabbit hole. And my good fortune was I got into currency, right? And right now, the US dollar is fiat, it's fake, it's what the world trades in the sense of oil. So the oil around the world is traded in the US dollar. So other countries around the world have to have US dollars if they want to buy oil. But it doesn't affect anything else. Like the Federal Reserve, which is a private company, can print this money at will. Right now, they're talking about a stimulus package. That's what I'm saying. The conspiracies are going crazy, right? And so they're printing this money that's fake, just like if you were to run money through a printer. But nowadays, it's not even money, it's digital. So let me just add a couple zeros here. It's fake money. Only reason that it's needed is because it's traded in oil. So the world needs dollars to buy oil around the world. So that's why when you see people freaking out about oil prices, it's tied to the dollar. And so that's why people are always concerned with oil prices, if you've ever noticed that. But this letter I wrote, so this was my pre-social media days. I was very anti-social media, and I wrote this down. I wrote this letter here. I don't know if I'm going to share it. I'm kind of embarrassed, but it's a little gem to me. And I wrote this down, and I wrote it into a text message. And I was going to send that text message to every person that I knew in my database on my phone. So I was going to send to all, right? And luckily, my better half, Mari, she goes, babe, maybe you should hold off and not send that out right now. Maybe you should think about it first, because she read it, and I think I sent it to her first. She wasn't with me, but I texted and I sent it to her first. And I'm like, I'm going to send this to everybody. Everybody needs to know this. And she was like, well, maybe hold off. And I think she called me immediately because she didn't want to be associated with me at all at that point. And, I was, my family was very, very, very understanding of me and my conspiracy days. But my good fortune was when I came across Robert Kiyosaki, because I was getting into gold and silver because of currencies, right? And this was 2011, 2012. And, he's a commodities guy. So he's oil, gold, real estate, just anything that's a physical asset. And he said something to me that was profound, and it completely shifted my outlook on everything. And it was simple. It was so simple. He goes, people are corrupt. They're always going to be corrupt. Governments are corrupt. They're always going to be corrupt. And he goes, you can only control what you can control, and you can't control what you can't control. So focus on what you can control to achieve what you want in life. So, and he went on, he goes, I can't control the system or what's going on, but I can control what I invest in. I can control what I buy, how I position myself with the knowledge that I have of all of this going on. And, I'm going, man, that makes a lot of sense. So, and I started listening to Robert Kiyosaki over and over, and everything that he had, man, I was into it. And it was all positive, like, hey, here, let me show you what I'm doing. Hey, here's how to create wealth in real estate. Here's how to better yourself. Like, here's what you need to do. And there's a lot of people, when I tell them about that, or Robert Kiyosaki, I would change. They go, oh my goodness, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's the first book that I ever read. It was game changer. And so there's a lot of people that have read that. And that led me onto a path of personal development, working hard on myself. And Jim Rohn talks about this. He goes, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. And it's the truest thing that I've ever come to realize. And so I really went down this path and started working hard on myself. And I saw a lot of changes, a lot of great changes. And I'm going, man, the world's changing around me. And no, the world's not changing around you. It's you're changing. So your views are changing, your perspective's changing. Things are changing because you changed, right? Because I changed. And I got off of that. I had Raven in about 2 years. I didn't read, kind of fell off that path. But the last 6 months, I've been back into it, reading, personal development, and just all of these different things. And I just got a book today, and that's what inspired me to write this, because this book is like, I got it and I started flipping through it, and I'm like, I cannot put this thing down. I read it for an hour, just reading the little phrases that it had in it. And it was just simple phrases, right? And so it's called The Art of Living, the classical manual of virtue, happiness, and effectiveness. So it's a really good book. So I would encourage anybody to go pick this up. But I want to read a couple things out of this. So I'm probably going to butcher this because I'm not the greatest reader. Never have been. Working on it, getting a lot better. I can read in my head a lot better now. And so for anybody out there that has trouble reading or says, I can't retain or whatever, you're not the only one. Most people feel like that. And then reading out loud is even harder. So I'm going to read this. I'm probably going to butcher it. But hey, screw it. Let's do it. I want to be able to look back on this video for me and to go, man, remember your journey? Remember that time that 2020 happened and there's a pandemic, Remember when I look at this little piece of paper here, this piece of cardboard that I will frame one day, I'm just so grateful for it, man. Like, those are the things that make you happy. I was going through a crazy time right there, but it just puts a smile on my face because I got through it, And so I opened this book up and it goes into, just the prologue and everything. But the first thing that comes up on it goes, know what you can control and what you can't control. And I thought that was pretty profound, especially right now. And I read that and I was, wow, man, that's pretty freaking cool. And I flipped through and it's just a bunch of stuff like that. It'll just, have a saying at the top and then it'll talk about it. So speak only with good purpose, right? Like, these are just principles, life principles. These go back, far, far back in time. Like, these will continue on far past when I'm gone. But it says, know what you can control and what you can't. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not. It is only after you have faced up to this fundamental rule and learned to distinguish between what you can and what you can't control that inner tranquility and outer effectiveness become possible. Within our control are our own opinions, aspirations, desires, and the things that repel us. These areas are quite rightly our concern because they are directly subject to our influence. We always have a choice about the contents and character of our inner lives. Outside our control, however, are such things as what kind of body we have, whether we're born into wealth or strike it rich, how we are regarded by others, our status in society. We must remember that those things are external and therefore not our concern. Trying to control or change what we can't only results in torment. Remember, the things within our power are naturally at our disposal, free from any restraint or hindrance. But those things outside our power are weak, dependent, or determined by the whims and actions of others. Remember, too, that if you think that you have free reign over things that are naturally beyond your control, or if you attempt to adapt the affairs of others as your own, your pursuits will be thwarted and you will become a frustrated, anxious, and fault-finding person. That's deep, man. Like, that's so simple, but it's so true. It's crazy. Know what you can control and what you can't control. And I learned this a while back And I stopped, and I call it suffering twice, right? Because if you suffer about something that's uncertain or you don't know about, and it may never even happen, you still suffered because you're putting thought into it, you're putting energy into it, you're putting all this attention on it, and it's creating anxiety and it's creating all of these things that it's just saying, frustrated, anxious, fault finding. It's somebody else's fault, it's not mine. And I've been there. And so, and I work on this every day. And I think a lot of people work on this, is to control what you can control and then let go what you can't let go. But that's a powerful one. And I was flipping through and I was reading some more. And then here's another one that I came across. It says, and that's pretty relevant to the times that we're in right now. So it says, events don't hurt us, but our views on them can. Let me read that again. Events don't hurt us, but our views on them can. That's powerful, right? Like things can't hurt us. Our reaction or thought to that thing is what hurts us. Understanding that is powerful. Then it goes on to say, things themselves don't hurt or hinder us, nor do other people. How we view these things is another matter. It is our attitudes and reactions that give us the trouble. Therefore, even death is no big deal in and of itself. It is our notion of death or idea that is terrible that terrifies us. Like, that's crazy. It is our notion of death, our idea that is terrible that terrifies us. There are so many different ways to think about death. Scrutinize your notions about death and everything else. Are they really true? Are they doing you any good? Don't dread death or pain. Dread the fear of death or pain. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. And everybody's heard the famous speech where I think Roosevelt goes, the only fear is fear itself, right? That's basically what this is saying. The only thing you fear is fear itself, like the thought of it. You hit things head on, right? And I always say suffer twice, because if there's something going on, like right now we have the coronavirus and everybody's worried, right? I'm going to get the coronavirus. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get it. You're suffering right now. Like, you are suffering and you may never even get the coronavirus, versus having the mindset of, hey, I may get it, I may not. I'm not going to worry about it because I can't control that, right? I can't control it. I may get it, I may not get it. Can't control it. It's out of my mind. Let me move forward. Let me control something that I can control. And so, those two things go hand in hand. And it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty exciting reading this book. I can't wait to, wake up in the morning and read this book and just learn some more stuff about myself. It's pretty cool. So here's another one that I was thumbing through and I thought was pretty relevant. It says, everything happens for a good reason. As you think, so you become. And this is the law of attraction. If you've ever heard the law of attraction, what you think about is what you attract. This right here, this little note was attracting me negativity. It was attracting me to see the things that I was thinking about. It attracted that into my life, and it was very stressful, very uncomfortable. As you think, so you become. Avoid superstitiously investing events with power or meanings they don't have. Keep your head. Our busy minds are forever jumping to conclusions, manufacturing, and interpreting signs that aren't there. Again, that goes with this. Like, I don't know if that's true or not, But our mind, we have a mechanism. I've heard it called our croc brain. But in the back of our mind, we have a fight or flight mechanism that we, as humans, we want to save ourselves. That's why there's so many people at the grocery store. That's where there's so many people buying guns. Like, it's like a fight or flight. Emotions go out the window. It's like, oh my goodness, fear, fight. What do I do to save myself? And our minds wander, right? It's like, this, and it goes down this damn rabbit hole. It's pretty crazy what the mind does. So it says, assume instead that everything that happens to you does so for some good. That if you decide to be lucky, you are lucky. All events contain an additional advantage for you if you look at it. So assume instead that everything that happens to you does so for some good. So it's the old saying, and you've probably heard it, life is happening for you. And if you haven't heard it, it's so true. And if you look back in growth and everything has come out of the pain in my life in particular, like this, I look at that and I go, man, I grew so much in that because I had to go through all of this to find Robert Kiyosaki, something that was true to me, something that was tangible, something that was like, here is a path to take. Control your mind, personal development, work on your skills, do things you can control. Because if you flounder and flop around and try and, oh my God, send a message out to the world's going to go, yeah, right, dude, whatever, like, I don't believe it, whatever. Rightfully so, because there's really no true evidence in it. And, you look back and you go, yeah, things are fishy, but I don't know what the truth is on that. I can go with my gut, I follow my gut, and I think there's some funny things that happen, and I would not put that aside. I'm very aware, and I look at everything with thought, not just reacting to fear. So, I look at things. I look at both sides of things. I try and look at things at all angles. I really like to, if I'm on social media, look at a post that may be an opposing view of mine and get in the comments and read and understand, like, what's the perspective that this person's writing that, because my perspective is different. Let me see what's going on in the comments. Let's see what people are saying, what's going on. Let me understand that perspective. And it's exciting, right? It's like, okay, not just having that closed mind, but having an open mind, looking at things with an open mind, and then just controlling what you can control. So it's pretty exciting. If you've stayed this long, let me read this because it's freaking hilarious. I'm embarrassed to read this, but if you've been here this long, I'll read it for you. I'm so freaking embarrassed. Oh my goodness. Hello, family and friends. And it's not like the best writing, and some of it's like the words are washed away, so bear with me. My reading is not the greatest, as you just heard. It says, hello, family and friends. And to put this into perspective, I had this in a text message. I was going to send it to everybody in my contacts. Oh, man, I just laugh at this. It's hilarious. Just how naive I thought I was to try and control this situation, right? All right, let me do this without laughing in my serious voice, because I was very serious when I did this. Hello, fam. Oh my goodness. Hello, family and friends. Please take a minute out of your day to read this important message. Are you awake? We have a real problem in this world right now, and on the brink of a revolution. I'm sad to say I've been blind and naive to the darkness, but recently woke up. I apologize. I'm sorry. This is hilarious. A lot of good information when I did this rabbit hole. Like, it opened my eyes to be able to see other views and things, but reading this just cracks me up. Oh, man, I encourage everyone that reads this to do a little research of what's going on in our world today. Here are a few key words to search. YouTube has been a big help. I literally wrote that. YouTube has been a big help. Cracks me up, man. Let me go over the keywords for you now. The other side. New World Order. Illuminati, 9/11 World Trade Center truth, FEMA, and many, many more that you will link to on YouTube. This puts a lot of what's going on into perspective. This has come from my heart, and you better believe I will be ready to fight for my freedom. I ask all of you to forward this to everyone in your contacts, to spread the word as we can make a difference. Thank you, your friend, Matt Cole. Oh, that's freaking treasure for me. I love having that because this is my journey, and I love that that was part of my journey. And I read this and I get so happy reading it. Oh man, it just cracks me up though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, wow, thinking that I was going to send that out. My mindset was, I'm going to send this out and people are going to wake up. Every one of my friends is going to wake up and they're going to send it to everyone they know. And it's going to be amazing, right? And it's going to change the damn world. So, oh my goodness. So if you're going through conspiracy phase right now, if you're trying to buy guns or you're freaking out that the world's coming to an end, I did that in 2011, 2012. And I thought the world was coming to an end then because that's what I was listening to. That's where my mind was going, right? And what did we just say in here? What you focus your attention on, you attract, right? As you think, so you become. And so this is what I was thinking. And so if you're, and my whole reason for this, besides me being able to look back on this video, on my journey, was to, if you are taking your mind to a negative place right now, I would encourage you to do things that you can control. And I'll give you some examples of things that I'm doing right now that I can control that really make me feel pretty damn amazing when I do them, because they're hard to do. And so, and I'll do it really fast because this freaking thing is long. So one of the things is waking up early, waking up earlier than you need to wake up. So last week I woke up every day at 4:30 in the morning, and then that like just gave me this adrenaline. This week I haven't woken up at 4:30. I kind of took a toll at 4:30, but I've been up before 6 every day. And 6 months ago, to be up before 8 o'clock was good. So that makes me feel really good. I can control when I get up. So second thing is working out. Working out is really hard to do. Especially if you haven't worked out in a long time, or you're a little bit overweight, like that's a hard thing to do. But when you do it, not only do you feel better physically, externally, the true benefit of it is feeling empowered internally, because it gives you something more internally than it does externally, believe it or not. And the third thing is just reading. Like physically reading is powerful because it's not easy. And if you do it, you feel better. So I hope you enjoyed this long rant of a video that I put out. But my conspiracy side's going crazy, and I'm sure I got some conspiracy friends out there going crazy. But man, we're going to get through this, and it's going to be all good, and it's going to be stronger, and things are going to be better. And don't let your mind wander. Just control what you can control, and don't focus on what you can't control. So again, my name's Matt Cole. Hope you have a great day. Take care.